Hello everybody and welcome to your healing reading. Go ahead and look at the image before you. There are 4 different lanterns. Each one of them will contain a different message about healing a different area of your life. So just depending on what you're going through, you are going to find messages and information through one of these lanterns that's going to help you or make things click, bring you into some clarity, or give you, a sense of what your path forward is. So go ahead and decide which one of those lanterns you feel is calling to you. And I have listed timestamps for each lantern in the description box and the top pinned comment below this video. So I will get right into the first lantern. Alright, so those of you who feel most drawn to that first lantern, let's see what's coming out. Woo, okay, I guess that's what's coming out, and I was only going to pull one of these, but 2 of them jumped out. So we have the ship and we have the stars. So those of you who are familiar with the Lenormand style of divination, this oracle deck is fashioned after that, so it's similar in meaning but also carries other meanings. So I just want to put that out there for those of you who are familiar with that. Anyways, what your healing message is about has something to do with movement and like dreams, wishes, good luck. So these 2 paired up, I'm feeling, those of you, there's just been like this big barricade, a huge blockage of positive movement forward, positive energy, getting what you want, achieving your dreams. It's just like one setback after another, which could very well have really put you in a place of, I just don't have faith anymore. Like, I believed in the good and, do the right thing, and I just don't see any evidence of that being the case for me. I'm seeing other people succeed and get fortune and blessing who, if from your perspective, don't deserve it. And then here you are trying to do your best, working hard, and you just feel like you can't win for trying. You can't win for being positive. You can't win for doing the right thing, being the bigger person. And this is like a perpetuation of energy that you've been experiencing for a while. However, since this is a healing message, this is about to shift in your life. But one thing I'm feeling really drawn to about this is perception, like your perception of things. Even though you see other people appearing to get good things and they're happy and you don't feel like they deserve it, understand this. Whatever's going on in any particular person's life is truly a reflection of their own energy and what they are working on a spiritual level this lifetime. And we each only have our personal perception of the world, of people, of our experiences, and no 2 people perceive or see things the same, right? So what Spirit's leading me here is you've got to stop looking at what's going on in others' lives, because there's a lot of good people just like you that are in struggle, are in challenge, and we tend to look at those who have it easier and think it's unfair. Why? Well, let me point out something about, is it the millennials, the millennials, this generation of millennials, where, there's this big debate and controversy where, this generation of children have really been handed everything, whereas children from my generation and generations past, like, we had to work hard. We played outside. There wasn't video games and cell phones and internet and computers and all of the technology of today. So a lot of children who are born in the now, they have a much different experience. There's so much that's just available to them, like life is such a different comfort. I mean, when I was a child, there was like things didn't stay open past 9. Some stuff wasn't even open on the weekend. The state I live in, you couldn't even, there was no liquor stores even open on Sunday. It's like, I don't know, 7 years ago that became a law and it got passed to where they could be open. So my point is, well, it's longer ago than that, my goodness. It's everybody is born differently and into different things. And the controversy with the kids today, you know, and things being so much easier, and also, you know, a big shift in consciousness where it's not okay to physically discipline and, you know, coddling, like it's big, everybody's feelings count. And I totally agree with that. But the discipline and other things have really started falling away in children's upbringings just because of how everything is shifting. And my point to this is, a lot of kids today, including my own, I mean, my own are victim to this, and I fed right into it. You know, they're not as responsible, they're not as ambitious, you know, they have these expectations because so much has been given and handed to them. So from one perspective, people say, oh, they're selfish, they're babies, they're coddled. But the truth is, like, if that's how they were brought up and they were raised, and, you know, everything's kind of just handed to you and you don't have any real discipline, you know, that's all you know. And from an outside perspective, one could look in and say, oh, you know, that's the parents' fault, or you need some discipline, grow up, put on your big girl panties, your big boy panties, whatever, like, get over yourself. It's life. You know, that's an outside perspective, right? Because of the life that you have lived. And my point to this is, this individual who's always had everything handed to them, they don't know different. So, you know, having to totally stand on your own is a very scary, hard thing to do. And it does feel bad because you're used to everything being handed. So to them, it's the end of the world when they have to stand on their own. Why? Because they never had the challenge. They never had to push through. They never had the discipline. Let me just be a little bit uncomfortable and I'm going to get my way. I'm going to be catered to. So when real life finally happens, because it happens to everybody, they don't know what to do. And it's like horrible. And other people who, you know, grew up nothing handed to them, maybe in some very strict, rigid, high discipline, or very neglectful, abusive situations, they had a much different experience, and you learn about life way different through those challenges and adversities, you know, growing up. And me personally, you know, I did not have the best childhood, and I was poor and like everything. And I hated life because of that growing up. And looking back, it was always my motivation of I'll do better. But now I'm like, that taught me so much. Like, it made me very resourceful and, you know, clever and witty, because I had to figure things out for myself at a very young age and take care of myself. And no, that's not fair. And I don't feel any child should have to go through that. However, I'm just pointing out that sometimes when it appears somebody's getting everything, it's not because it's a blessing or a benefit. It's actually to their detriment. And sometimes when you're being really challenged and things just aren't happening, you're being developed in ways that you just can't comprehend for what's up ahead on your journey. And these two cards coming out, it's like, perception is everything. And Spirit says, don't look at anybody else's journey and compare it to your own, in the sense of, oh, you know, I'm not blessed, I'm not loved, I don't have this, I don't have that, I should be better at this point in my life. Like, wash away any of that. If you are going to compare your life to anybody else, find somebody who really inspires you and just ignites that fiery passion within. And, you know, say, universe, what would it take for me to be on that energy, on that trajectory, but for me? Because you never want to be somebody else. They can only inspire you. What their inspiration, what it triggers in you, you turn that energy into your own and blossom into your own unique flowers. So this is like, don't compare yourself to anybody else, because no, you're being shaped and you're being grown. And I know you don't want to hear that when you're in the struggle. I never wanted to hear that in the struggle. But when you get through it and you get to the other side and you never gave up, and you know, never giving up means like you don't lose yourself. Like, you can have moments where you break down, where you feel weak, where you cry, where you curse the world, but you still get back up and you keep moving forward and you do the best you can and you accept things are as they are and you just go. And that right there, even though you feel in a drought or like nothing is in your favor, you're being shaped, you're being grown, and please see it from that perception so it doesn't hurt you so much, so that you don't personalize it and question what's wrong with you and why are you not blessed, and you know, why is this horrible person who does all these nasty things, why does everything seem to work out for them? Because at the end of the day, Spirit loves everybody. Regardless of the way we perceive each person or experience them, Spirit loves everybody. Everybody has a purpose and a place. And as I pointed out, that we only have one perception to look through, which is our own. We only see a tiny, tiny portion of any person that we encounter and we meet. There is so much more to everybody energetically, at their soul, what they're working on this lifetime, you know? Haven't you ever had a friend where it's just like they nothing, like you're like, where's the common sense? Like, they are just stupid about every choice that they make, repetitive patterns over and over and over, and then you like lose touch with them, and 5 years later you run into them and they're the most enlightened fool you've ever met, and you're like, wait, what? How did you go from that to this? Like, there are many people that I've known where I was like, man, that person is circling the drain, you know, and they just come back strong and wise and just like this whole other version of themselves that I never could have imagined. They could have never imagined. So the thing is, we never know what our experiences are doing for us, how they're shaping us, where they're taking us. And so when we look at other people, we only see a little tiny sliver of what they're working on and what they're going through. And so to try to compare, and it's an impossibility. So look at yourself. The only thing you should ever compare to is who you used to be, opposed to who you've grown into today, and be proud of yourself. And things are a process, you know, it doesn't just move quick like that. So let's pull some tarot dice, get some information, a little bit more information, because this, you're almost to the end of this. There is going to be movement that pushes you towards a much happier, prosperous, more magical experience, okay? Okay, yeah, look at that, Magician. Like I said, more prosperous, more magical experience, in a sense of you, in this moment, don't connect the dots of where you're going, and it's, to me, much better than you think. We have the Five of Swords here. So yeah, here's that heavy energy of like, when's this going to end? Why does this person, you know, get this and that? And here's the Page of Swords. So this is some pessimism, but look at here. You end with the Sun. So you have the Magician, the stars, and the sun here, okay? And then two swords in the middle. And look at, on top of the sun, look at what sits right there, the stars. So I'm just going to look at that as a sign, a reflection, as above, so below. And the sun is a healing energy. So there is going to be a shift to, you know, your struggle, what you've been going through, all of that, but it's not for nothing. And with the swords here, that's, you know, mental or communication, and you've got to clear that area of yourself, get out of your head and get like back into your soul, and start, you know, getting curious and thinking about all the experiences that you've been going through lately as clues. Write them down, maybe, you know, try to see like what's repetitive. I'll give you an example. And this is how, when I say unrelated things are actually related. My furnace is just keeps acting crazy. And so I call the landlord and I'm like, you know, the pilot light won't work, all, you know, the normal steps, it won't turn on. So he sends somebody out, they fix the pilot light. Well, at the same time the thermometer froze up and it wouldn't move, the heater would still work, it was stuck at 70. So I'm like, well, I need the thermometer fixed, you know, or, I'm sorry, the thermostat fixed too. So he comes out, he fixes the thermostat. The problem still exists with the heater. Even though the thermostat is now fixed, I can adjust the temperature and the pilot light is working full function. There's still an issue with the heater. Like, it turns on and just blows air, cold air, not hot air. So he has calls out more professionals. They spend 3 hours cleaning it, doing everything. Guess what? Still has a problem. So finally, I go and check all the vents in the house and realize, oh, look at, some of these vents are closed up. Maybe that's part of the problem. And this has been like an ongoing issue, and it's freezing cold. We're in the middle of January, and it's like snow and cold outside. It's not snow today, but it was cold and snow through some of this, I will say that. And, you know, being without heat and, you know, this is misery. Like, I'm happy, I'm grateful. Like, why is this happening? Well, you know, it finally dawned on me, you know, if my heater's not working, what's inside is also external. There's a malfunction in me, which there is a malfunction in me. I'm working, I'm receiving information, I'm able to do readings, but it's like there's some imbalance there. There's some issue, like I'm not fully open, the chakra is kind of blocked, something along those lines. And you know, now once I open those vents for the heater and the heater's running well and I made the connection and, you know, been kind of sitting in myself, grounding, doing all those things, I feel fine now. So there's no coincidence that I figured out the issue, the true issue that caused all those other issues to happen to the heater. At the same time, I made the connection to myself and took the time to also correct myself. So everything in your life is truly connected, and the more you can just look at everything that's happening and playing out and not look at it as this is happening to me, but what is this trying to show me about me? And it's not a literal tit for tat thing. Sometimes you've got to really get out of your head and kind of sit there in your space, and the answers eventually will come. You'll start making those connections. And I was frustrated beyond belief about the heater, you know, it's just cold and it sucks and I don't like strangers in my house. And so, but again, once I just finally calmed down and made the connection, the sun came back out. It's a warm day, heater's working, I'm feeling good, all is well. But it took a couple weeks, and that's what I see here for you guys. It's, you make the connections to everything that's going on. Like, what is this teaching me? What is this trying to show me? And then the healing comes in like that quick. It's just, the answer is there. And I don't know why we always resist that, because I know I certainly do. But once you just kind of get quiet and like, okay, universe, what am I missing here? Help me connect these dots. They'll start connecting, and you're like, oh, okay. And you have to then take the action that needs to be taken to correct whatever's going on with you. But once you do, it's just, everything resolves itself. I mean, just crazy, the heater. It's like been driving me to an early grave. So I'm grateful that I finally made the connection. So let's see which chakra is most affected for you guys with this. Like, why the energy is so stuck. What are we trying to learn here and understand so that we can move forward? Okay, so this is the crown chakra. I am present. I don't know, can you see that? I am presence. I am presence. And so this here, definitely some spiritual growth if we have the crown chakra coming through as where the blockage is, okay? Your energy is not moving because there's a spiritual lesson and understanding that you're trying to work through. And so how I just said, ask the universe, What is it that I'm missing? How do I connect these dots? Like, why is the energy, not in flow the way that it needs to be? It will come to you. But more than that, with I Am Presence, you've got to stop dwelling on the past, and you've got to stop worrying about the future. You have to come into the now and accept all that is right now and recognize that this too shall pass. All things will, all things do. Nothing is truly the same for very long. Like, everything is constantly changing, including you and me, everybody else. So there's spiritual lesson for what you're going through. And when you really get that deep in your soul, you come into that understanding, that is like, boom, the energy moves quick. And it's that simple. It really is. It probably right now you're like, oh my God, whatever, you have no idea what I've been going through. And I agree with you, I do not. But I can tell you what I see here, and this is so spiritual. So I know once your consciousness expands into that higher perspective that you're reaching for, then everything's boom. There you go. Oh, I like that. Seriously, that's easier than you think, even though it feels really not that way right now. I promise you, this is spiritual. And when it's spiritual, you have a whole team working with you. You're being very guided, but you've got to really open yourself. So let's get some advice coming in about all of this. All right, surrender to receiving support and love. Oh my gosh. And I just said, you have this whole team trying to help you right now, and you've just got to open up and let them in, and boom, look at what comes out. It says, allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. Yes, you are not meant to, go through this alone. Now, we do have to, make the choices and actions, and ultimately you are in control of yourself, but you always have divine guidance with you. You always have that, non-physical support. And it's saying, open up to the universe to help you move through this energy, because you deserve to, okay? And it's, once you stop looking at what's going on for everybody else and just come into yourself and, all right, universe, show me what this is about for me. Where is this trying to lead me? Help me connect these dots so I can move forward. I want to heal. I want happiness. I want to reach my goals. I want all these things. So what does it take? What do I need to understand? What part of me do I need to heal? What part of me do I need to release and let go of from the past? How do I, quiet my mind more for future events? And I noticed that the coloring in this card is similar to the tiered coloring of my candle. So with that would be like, because it's yellow and green, the solar plexus and the heart chakra also I feel are coming into play. So there's definitely some emotional baggage that needs to really be faced and examined so it can be healed. But also in that process, you're going to receive your empowerment back through your solar plexus chakra. So it's like we're not receiving the soul message, the wisdom, the lesson from this higher place. And so these experiences that are meant to grow you are stuck in your heart, in your solar plexus chakra, and it's like you can't move past that energy. But once you start connecting the dots, the healing comes in and you move forward, like I said. So let's pull some more advice. All right, lead, it says, when in a position of leadership, make logical and courageous decisions. You may experience sorrow or frustration and feel overwhelmed. Still, you must do what you must do. Do what it takes, even in the face of disapproval. Results matter. So this is basically letting you know that whatever this means for you and the choices that you have to make and steps you have to take, whether people agree or not, it's irrelevant. You do what you've got to do for you, because you're living your life, and that's how you're going to clear your energy up so that you can, progress forward. That's the whole point. So let's keep pulling cards. Got a few more cards I'm going to pull to add to this lovely message for you guys. Oh yeah, see, look at this. Moon Goddess coming out to under surrender, receiving love and support. And, in this particular deck, she's not what you think. She is a time of necessary upheaval, a blessing in disguise. As the dust settles, the gift reveals itself, okay? So this is so in alignment with this whole message, and let spirit in. Ask the universe. You so don't have to do this alone. And more than that, different like physical support, resources, things like that that you need, the more you open up to spirit, the more those things start coming through into your world for you. For those of you that watch the True Tarot stories that I've been starting, Heather's story, as she's started really opening up and trusting the universe, because she would be in this energy for sure, where there's like all these just crazy things popping up here and there. And it's causing her to do two things. Either A, change and really trust that all this stuff's happening because she's purging and elevating her energy, or B, fall back into old patterns, get worried, get anxious, fear the future. Well, she's choosing the first choice, okay? And all these little unexpected blessings are just popping up in her world all over the place. And it's exactly what she needs when she needs it, okay? So, those of you going through this, trust that even if it looks scary, even if it's been a long road, the more that you just accept and you allow yourself to be in the present right now and say, I choose to clear and heal my emotional baggage, everything that hurt me in the past, everything that I hold on to, you know what, universe, rip it all up from deep, deep within me, rip it up so I can clear it, purge it, get it out of my life, and move forward. And again, you will have support, non-physical, but also there's friends, family, people you haven't met yet that are going to show up along your path and just give you the tools, understanding, and things you need. Please trust that. And we don't always get what we want, because what we want isn't always what we need. But I promise you, you will always get what you need. Even if it feels like it's so not enough, it's enough for what you need right now in that moment, for what you're trying to understand and grow into. All right? It's just this trust, and it's not like a blind faith that some magic miracle is going to show up. It's a trust that the more you choose to work on you and believe and purge and change patterns that you know are not healthy, the more the universe can come in, okay, and the more the magic starts to just happen on its own. So any of this upheaval, all of this, it's so you can purge and really move on into a much better place of energy, of time, of experience. And oh my gosh, this one just had to jump right on out. And you know what this is about? The turquoise sea. This is all about relationships, okay? And this is saying that in order to truly heal relationships with anybody, you've got to heal the relationship with yourself first. You've got to find your footing. You've got to come back to the seat of your soul and nurture and honor and love yourself. And if you really struggle with self-esteem and confidence and all of those things after all you've been through, ask the angels to come in, okay? I swear they will show up. You know, friends and humans will let you down, even the best of them. But I promise you this, my spirit guides never one single time, ever, ever, ever. And so now at this point when I have crazy going on, I'm like, okay, I'm either needing to learn something, grow, or something is just crazy off inside of me. Every time it's one of those three. So they will show me. If I can't seem to figure it out, I'll be like, okay, what do I got to do? As always, I will recommend something that I always do, which is meditations while you sleep. There's so many of them on YouTube for free, and you just put your headphones in and you do the work while you sleep, which I feel is quite more effective anyways, at least for me. But if you're a person who enjoys like meditation and all that stuff while awake, then, you know, feel free. But also some Reiki and looking for tools for reconnection of self, loving self, honoring self just as you are, because the more you connect to you, the more others can connect to you in a healthier way, all right? So that's very lovely. I do like that. So many of you, this has to do with relationship, and just maybe a series of bad ones that have really put you in this place. And, you know, it's like there's nothing new coming in and all of that. But with this, it says once we get over that hump, there is a lot of new energy that, you know, bursts forth and through for you guys. So let's pull one final card. Seasons of the heart. Okay. Yeah. So listen, this is saying everything does change, and people's hearts and emotions change. And, you know, if somebody just kind of out of nowhere stopped caring about you, just disappeared, you're like, wait, whoa, what? Recognize that there's an energy that shifted inside of them. And when that happens to us, when, you know, we've been with somebody for a while, or we've been friends or family, and then out of nowhere they just kind of start flaking and getting really crappy as though you never had a connection at all, it has everything to do with energy and something shifting inside of them. And we don't recognize it when we are starting to disconnect and pull away from people because it's our life and we're living it. But, you know, when you start disconnecting and pulling away from certain people because something's shifting inside of you, and therefore maybe you don't like them anymore, or there's just, you're not feeling their vibe, whatever it is, you just naturally start disconnecting and pulling away. And you don't think of yourself as doing it maliciously or anything. Well, this is about that perception, okay? So people that, you know, start disconnecting and pulling away, and it seems for no real reason, it's about an energy shift inside of them, and something's changing. And looking in the perception of, oh, they never cared about me, they only used me, all those things, that will only continue to hurt you and harm you. But to recognize that every single person goes through shifts within themselves where they shed friends, they shed romances, you know, they shed habits, they change into somebody new. Everybody, every single person, including you, experiences that energy. And it's hard not to personalize those things, but, you know, this is saying look through new eyes. Because even if somebody was with you and, you know, they used you and they lied to you and they cheated on you, but they spent a significant amount of time with you, nobody can spend that much time with somebody and not feel, okay? They feel for you. You are a part of them. Now, their level of consciousness, that's something else. Even if they feel for you, if they're working from a very low level of consciousness, those feelings are not going to override. They're feeling guilty or anything about treating you badly. Like, that's not going to really register because of their level of consciousness. And it's not about you and your worth and your value and that, you know, they didn't care about you. It's just that their level of consciousness is not at a place to meet you on the same level emotionally, okay? And people who are very connected to their emotions, they don't tend to just disappear on people, right? But those who work with a very low level of consciousness and tend to be more disconnected, that's how they handle things. Let me run from it. And so it's not to say that you never mattered, and I think you need to know that. Like, You do matter. Every person you come into contact with, you impact somehow, some way. And even though it's not acknowledged, don't second guess yourself based on how somebody else handles something or treats you, because again, that's based on their level of consciousness. And this being the outcome for you guys with Seasons of the Heart, this is telling me that as you move through all of this, your heart shifts, and what you're missing right now, what you're mourning right now, you're not going to want anymore. You're not, after you get through this energy. It's like your heart changes. So that is something to look forward to. With healing, your heart changes and you're finished with this. It does not hurt you anymore. Okay? So those are your messages for Lantern 1. I hope that this has brought you some healing and clarity and understanding. I am wishing you all the best. Take care. Hello there. So this is the messages for those of you who were feeling attracted to Lantern 2. I'm going to start off by pulling one card. And this is a deck that is fashioned after the Lenormand style of divination. So if you are familiar with that, you will see similarities in this deck, but this is an actual oracle deck fashioned after that. So the messages are a little bit different. Okay, so big cards too. So let's see the main thing that needs healing here for you guys. Oh, you guys got the Familiar, and I love this card and I love this message. And when I was doing my own reading about the healing I need in my life, this is the card that also came out for me. So those of you that have this is about your spiritual self, okay? And with the Familiar, this is your spirit guide, and the way your spirit guide will come to you through a very specific animal or creature. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about this card. The creator of this deck, she was talking about, doing a meditation one night, and this black cat came to her in her meditation, and from that point on, she would see a lot of black cats around the area. They would cross her path, all these things. And then finally, her mother's cat had some kittens, and she decided, oh, you know what, I'm going to get a cat. Well, she went over to look at the kittens, and all the kittens were running around except for one, and it was sitting on top of a sewing machine curled up in a little ball. And she knew right away, okay, that black cat, and it was the only one that was black, that one is the one. But more than that, she happened to be in school for fashion design and things like that at the time, and this cat is sitting on top of the sewing machine. So there's a lot of synchronicity and connection there, and that's what this is about. You, my friends, are missing a lot of signs, signals, and information that your spirit guide is trying to bring forth to you. Also, if there is a particular animal that keeps crossing your path, like literally in real life, or you just keep seeing, the same animal on the internet or on a show, and it's catching you, and you're like, oh, I keep seeing owls or something, that is your spirit guide trying to speak to you through the animal form, through animal spirit, okay? And in that situation, we'll take the owl, for example. You need to look up, what does the owl mean spiritually? What are the messages associated with the owl? And go to many different resources, okay? Because just as my perception of the Familiar and what that's about, many people would agree with and resonate to, others will not. So it's good to get a lot of different perceptions about the same thing when you're learning about it, to see what resonates for you, and then also to trigger your own inner knowing. So you guys, it's all about the signs and synchronicities and allowing your spirit guide to come in and answer your questions and give you the guidance and understanding that you keep asking for and seeking. But more than that, with this, I think some of you are holding off on a big time spiritual shift or awakening that's trying to come in. It's part of your life path, part of your journey. So let's pull some tarot dice and get some more information about this. All right. So we've got, I go with the top, we've got the Temperance, and no, this is not the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups are side by side. This is, I guess I should hold it that way. This is actually the Temperance card where, you know, alchemy, the energies, we need a little bit of this and a little bit of that to create what we want. So this to me is talking about your soul, your spirit, and you're being tempered. There's an awakening taking place inside of you. And next out would be the Two of Swords, but there's a blockage. You're blocking it somehow, some way. Next out here would be the Eight of Swords. Yep, here's feeling stuck, restricted, and blocked. And lastly, we have the Five of Cups. Well, what's restricting us and blocking us? Sadness. This could be, you know, about a relationship. This could be about a situation, a circumstance, just whatever has really hurt you and scarred you and you've really struggled to heal and let go and move on from. That's what we're talking about here. And your spirit guide is trying to come in and help you work through this, because this really heavy challenge, this setback, this thing that broke your heart, that ripped you open, it's because you are going for a spiritual awakening. And you know, I've talked about that in the past, where you've got to be cracked open and like ooze out so spirit can come in. And Rumi says the light, or the wound is where the light enters. Well, I've had people leave really crappy comments like, well, why do I got to be cracked open? Why do I got... And I can't help that type of attitude. I mean, you know, if you're miserable and things aren't going right in your life, clearly something does need to change, right? Because the same thing's going to keep happening if you're making the same choices. You've truly got to change your patterns of thinking, your patterns of behavior, and the choices that you consistently make, and feel empowered in that and not helpless to other people. Oh, or I can't do this, or that would hurt such and such's feelings, or I can't do this because I made this obligation 10 years ago. Like, that sort of thinking might need to be what some of you guys let go of, okay? It's going to be different for everybody, but the reason why you're going through this, or you experience that deep wound, is because it's going to change you. Like, this is so spiritual, really deep. And I'm glad this is multiple choice, because seriously, those of you that were drawn to this, you have to have somewhat of a awakened consciousness to really understand what I mean. Because I personally, the really heavy, hard stuff that happened to me, the unspeakable, for a long time I struggled with the universe about that. And how could you ever let that happen to me? And now, where I sit, just, you know, doing the tarot readings on YouTube, and then other people I help outside of YouTube, I recognize why I went through a lot of those things. Because had I never walked in those shoes, how could I offer anything to anybody? If I didn't know what it was like to be abused, go hungry, be homeless, be taken advantage of, betrayed, lied to, just a whole slew of things. And I'm talking from childhood, okay? A lot of that happened in childhood. If I had never had those experiences and had to suffer, carry that around to the point that I was going to go nuts, so I had to figure out a way to heal myself and move on, which I did. And now here I am, and I can help you and help you get through what it is that hurts you, that is making you struggle and want to give up and feel like life is unfair, and no, I don't want to be spiritually awoken, or, you know, whatever's going on. Because if I had never known those pains, those hurts, those betrayals, unspeakable things. I would not understand. I could not read these cards the way that I do. I just wouldn't get it. And I'm not saying like all of you are meant to read cards or anything like that. Some of you definitely are, though. It's just your life journey and everything that you will encounter and people you have encountered. You don't know the impact you have on every person that comes into your life. So the things that have happened were not because you're a bad person or you were forsaken or forgotten about. You just... Woo! I didn't even know my alarm was set. Wow, that's a sign right there. Thank you, Spirit. Right there. That was not what it's about. You have a path. You have a journey this lifetime. You have a mission. And you had to walk through these experiences so that you can reshape yourself. And your spirit guides are so trying to help you and assist you at this time. So let's pull a card to see which chakra is most affected right now, and could use some balancing to help you move through this energy to allow this awakening. Clarity, third eye. Yeah, and I'm not surprised with the familiar that this is the card that's accompanying it, and also it being the third eye that is blocked at this time. So many of you that were drawn to the second lantern, you are spiritually gifted, whether you know it or not, all right? And many of you are bogged down right now in the energies of what's happened to you or what you're currently going through, that you don't know like the extent of what you're capable of. And you're coming to the point on your journey where it's time to have that big spiritual awakening into who and what you truly are and what you are capable of. Because once you clear this energy, this coming out, it's like your sixth chakra finally is open. Your third eye finally opens, and the people that hurt you, took advantage of you, all those things, it can't happen again because you're too wise now. You see it, you sense the energy. Even if you don't like come into being this incredible psychic or medium or energy healer, whatever, through this process, you're still going to be a person that is quite insightful, very intuitive. You're just going to understand energies in a different capacity than you have previously. People are going to see you as a very wise soul, all right? So you either have a spiritual gift that's trying to really awaken and come through because that's part of your life journey, or you still may not fully awaken to that aspect of yourself, but you're opening up to your soul wisdom more, your intuition, your empathy, where again, everybody who encounters you just feels like you are a very wise old soul. Like you just always know what to say. You just always understand. You always know the right thing to do to help people, no matter what they're going through, okay? So this is very similar energy, kind of branching out in two different ways. So take that and let yourself know that you've been preparing. You've been going through what you're going through because you're trying to really shed an old skin and awaken, crack out of this like very constricting, oppressive mold. I mean, we have the Eight of Swords right there, very constrictive, oppressive mold. And some of you, this is like, you've got to be willing to change, though. There's like some things you don't want to let go of currently in your life, or there's some things that have happened that you're really holding on to and you just keep carrying around with you, and it comes into every relationship, every experience, every situation. And your spirit guide, I'm telling you, is right there. You guys probably you may see stuff move, you hear stuff bump in the night, your technology might even kind of screw up, you might hear things, you have dreams, like there is a guide around you, like knocking on your door, like trying to get your attention and saying, I'm right here. Here I am. I will help you. I will help you. I will help you. They can't do the work for you. They can't give you all the answers, but they can help you decipher the clues. They can help you come into the understanding that you're lacking right now, the clarity that you can't find, and help you open, you know, your third eye fully. And meditation is really good for that. Reiki's good for that. So look on YouTube for third eye activations. Go to a Reikiist. Just whatever works for you, because this is very spiritual. Like there's a shift for you and it's on that level. So let's pull some advice here. All right, surrender your need to always be right. Do you know what this is? This is Spirit saying, no, you always think that you know, but you don't. And I'm here trying to help you see things from new eyes, from a new perception, so that we can clear this, so that we can move beyond this energy. And it says, give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. So with your spirit guide, first and foremost, this speaks to that, you know, trust, open up, trust the universe more, acknowledge all the signs and synchronicities and oddities that are happening around you. That is your guide trying to communicate with you, trying to show you that it's right there, all right? But also with this, as you kind of just soften your energy, you're gonna not be so distrustful or suspicious of people, because I don't feel like you're like, oh, I know it all, I know it all. I don't feel like that's the type of energy. It's just, I get the sense like you dismiss certain people and their opinions and things like that on a bias that might not be sound, okay? So however that pertains to you, take that, because your guides are really trying to show you, you know, things from a different perception. All right, so let's pull some more advice. Also, those of you where it's like trying to come into a higher understanding, where you're pretty spiritually awakened already and you're just trying to come into like this higher understanding, there's a situation in your life that happened that brought you a lot of sadness, and you think you know what it was about, but your guides are like, no, you were very wrong in your thinking. You're still kind of in fear-based energy on how you're perceiving that person or that situation. So they're here and they're trying to help you shift and see it differently so you can clear and, you know, move beyond this. Or help you come into clarity if you're still just like stumped to this day and it just hurts you still. All right, resist dependency. And this says, take nothing for granted, stand firm, and do not give in to the urge of attachment. Everything falls apart if you waver. With addiction, obsession, and dependence comes loss of freedom. Do not forfeit your liberty. Very interesting that this would show when we have the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords is oppressive. It is feeling stuck and trapped, imprisoned. And this is saying, mentally, don't see yourself as stuck and trapped, imprisoned in anything. And if there's certain behaviors, emotional patterns, mental patterns, way you just rehash things over and over, like whatever really needs to shift and change inside of you, your guide is going to just be putting that in your face, in your face, in your face, and you'll have no choice but to change it. Or like this kind of heavy energy perpetuates, like this is your lesson, this is part of your journey. You are meant to rise up above, beyond, and out of your current paradigm, like 100%. You've got to trust that. You've got to believe that, and just go with the flow, go with the journey. So Let's add some more cards to this. All right, we have Infinity. I love it. I love that this is the card that popped out. It says, Dearest one, rest with the light of your soul. Feel my spirit alive within you, the spirit of the goddess of nature, the earth and stars. Accept the love and light we shower upon you. Yeah, your guide, little message from your guide, a little memo here, since you're not getting the memo. Here it is. Oh, coming right through in your reading. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Okay, and butterflies. I keep thinking butterflies, and I'm like, no, butterflies have come out. What are we talking about? Like, yeah, I get it, metamorphosis, change, and now we have the butterfly on this set of cards, but I don't know, some of you butterflies are highly significant, and the more, oh, that would make sense. Some of you, that's your familiar. And look, as I'm saying that, these flew out. You see these butterflies? Do we have more? Oh. Okay, so look at this. Purity. Yep, we've got to get rid of this energy, this Five of Cups, and your guide is so trying to help you with that, because it's time for you to return to a place of love within yourself, love for life, happiness, a restoration of happiness within you. Like, they're really trying to lead you somewhere. And here we're talking about the third eye. And just so happens on this card, look what's highlighted on her. Her third eye. She's surrounded by butterflies. There you go. That's why I'm feeling them. Wow. You guys have a very powerful reading. I am just going to put that out there. Next, we have Lost in Our Own Equations. This is pretty much backing this up, where it's saying, listen, you might be too much up in your head, or you might be too rigid in your thinking, or be using biases from past experiences that are not allowing your consciousness to expand. So this is saying, you know, the more you get out of your head and just start paying attention to the signs, the synchronicities, write them down, you know. Your spirit guide is going to help you connect all those dots, but you've got to make sure that is your intention, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to release this Five of Cups energy and this Eight of Swords, like whatever it takes to purify yourself. And lastly, look at this. We have release, and this is mainly talking about something that is no longer a part of your life, but it's still very much present in today, and it's only hurting you, it's only harming you, and it's really truly time to let it go, to move past it. That comes out under the purity. So I was only going to pull one from that deck, and you guys got four, and they just like played in so perfectly to this whole message. So, I think you know what you've got to do. It's time to shed the past and rigid beliefs and ideas, and really allow yourself to spiritually expand, because it's going to bring you a lot of happiness and joy, and your spirit guide is going to like haunt you, okay? And some of you, oh, and this just flew out as I'm saying that, and some of you, it is the butterfly, or maybe even this black cat, but I was feeling something about the butterfly super, super strong. So look at this. We have trust. And this is where your spirit guide is saying, listen, because you could see she has some apprehension on her face. Even though you've been going through a lot, you've got to trust me. Please open yourself, open your heart to the signs, to the synchronicities. Don't assume that you know it all, or that you know what's going on. Like, there's a big lack of clarity inside of you, and that's why your guide is trying to come in really strong, so that you don't make choices that aren't really in your highest good, okay? All paths lead to the same destination, but this path is meant to be a much smoother experience for you. And the way that happens is by really healing and releasing this part of your past that just eats you up, that just stays with you, that holds on to you. And once you do that, Everything changes. Like I said, you shift into your spiritual gift for the first time, or you really expand into a whole different version of that, or you're just a person who energy is just very balanced, and you are very wise and poised and graceful, and things just don't get to you the way they used to. You just walk with grace. So really pay attention to all signs, synchronicities, symbols, dreams. Your spirit guide is coming through. It's not in your head. Any weird oddities happening, around you in reality with your technology, any of it, that is your spirit guide coming through, really trying to guide you right now. So open yourself up to all those messages. Anyways, those are your messages for those of you who were attracted to the second lantern. I hope that this did bring you some guidance and clarity, and I am wishing you all the best. Take care. Hello there. So this is for those who are attracted to that third lantern. Let's see what healing message it contains. I do want to point out this is fashioned after the Lenormand style of divination, if you're familiar with that. But these are oracle cards, actually, so they're read a little bit differently. Just want to put that out there in case you're familiar with these. Okay, so let's see. Ooh, look at this, the seer. We're talking about healing. So I thought lantern number 2 was a strong spiritual message, but this might even take the cake over that. So this coming out first and foremost, the reason why you may continue to be in a situation that's like perpetual, the same energy. So if you were in a bad relationship romantically and you finally got out of that, it's like your next relationship started out like it seemed like it would be a good thing, but it kind of turned into the same thing that you had before. Same thing with like a job. It starts out where it seems like it's a really good thing, but then it turns into just the same old crap, and you keep finding it everywhere you go. This could be in a job, this could be in romance, this could be through friendships. But with this, it's coming out, it's saying, listen, there's something that you keep failing to see, or you're choosing not to see about a person, about a situation, or even about yourself and the way you choose to handle it and things along that line. That's what this is saying. That's why you might be in the struggle getting past something, because there's something that you just can't see or you haven't seen. Now, for others of you, this right here is telling me that you have a spiritual mission this lifetime, and there is a part of you that is refusing to acknowledge or awaken to this aspect of yourself. It could be even that you're supposed to have a career path that branches off into a much more spiritual capacity than previous, or than what you do right now, and you just you don't want it, or you can't see how it could happen, or you don't think you're good enough, or your skills not developed enough, something along those lines. And this is saying you've got to open yourself up to the next step. What would be the next level? What are you fearing about your spirituality, about your spiritual gifts, about the non-physical realm? What, prejudices or biases do you have based on different things you've been taught growing up about, religion and the afterlife and spirits and all of that? Some of you, like, it's totally split. Half of you, it's like there's something that you just are not seeing, or you're refusing to see, and that's why you're in the struggle. For others of you, it's like you have this spiritual mission that you're refusing to open up to. Like, I feel more out of fear or some sort of idea. If you follow my True Tarot stories, my first story, Heather, she actually was nervous about chakras, and even what they were because of what a friend of hers had told her about them based on an experience that her friend's son had. I think it was maybe with a Ouija board or something, or I don't know. I don't remember all the details. And so here I'm telling her she needs to balance her chakras. And she's like, what are you talking about? That's bad. That's taboo. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Everybody has chakras. They're your energy vortexes, your energy centers of you. You're an energetic being. So some of you, you're not opening up to your full spiritual capacity or to it at all because of things you've been told that you fear. And it's like you've got to really rewrite the programming in your subconscious around these ideas so that you can expand and open up. And for me personally, I was incredibly Christian the majority of my life, and I fought trying to get out of that thinking and expand my consciousness to ideas beyond that sort of, paradigm. And it took a lot, all right? It took a lot. It took years. So, and now I'm like, oh, okay. And I see religion in such a different capacity, and I respect all religions. But some of you, you've got to break out beyond what you've been taught or what you know right now in order to go to the next level of your spiritual development. And some of you, this is, that spiritual mission that you have. So let's pull some tarot dice and get some more information about this. Ooh, you guys get 5 with the Emperor coming out first, right there. I was only going to pull 3, but then 4 kept coming out, and now you guys got 5, so. Okay, so first out, which wants to go in front of this Emperor, so let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 of Wands. Yeah, that's it, right? This right here is Spirit. So trying to come in, show you what it is that you don't see or that you don't want to see about yourself or about a situation so that you can move past it. And then for those of you that have like this spiritual mission and you're meant to have this incredible awakening or expansion of your gifts, like here's Spirit right here, like coming in full force, hard. And then let's see, we have the Fool, which this is that new beginning when you finally see what you've been missing and you're ready to start anew. Or this is where you break beyond your current belief systems about the non-physical, about spirituality, about all of it, and see things from a whole new perspective. And I'm not saying stop believing what you believe and jump on some other bandwagon. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying allow yourself to expand beyond your current beliefs, like add on to those concepts. It's like a growing of the consciousness, not necessarily erasing or changing beliefs, but a huge expansion of that, okay? And here we have the 7 of Pentacles. So this is that struggle of energy. And then lastly, we have the Page of Wands. Yeah. You are so meant to move beyond this energy. Like, that's so why you were drawn to this lantern. It's like, it's time. Whatever you are afraid of, or whatever it is like that you don't want to see or don't want to face, it has such little power. I know it feels big, it feels scary, it's unknown, or you don't feel like you could face life if you had to make a certain decision. But I'm telling you, it's, if you just open up and you're like, okay, Spirit, show me my blocks, show me what it is that I am not seeing or I don't want to see, show me my potential, show me what it is that you see, all this messages and information you keep directing at me. I mean, you got the 8 of Wands here, so you are being bombarded with energy from the non-physical. Like, it's time, it's time, it's time, it's time. Like really trying to shake you up, wake you up. And the more that you resist, the harder and harder and harder things become. So with this here, I'm saying, just, Spirit, what is it? What is it that I'm missing? Show me the way. And Spirit's going to show you. Because what I see here is like you're showing as this emperor, so you're already grown in whatever energy vibration you currently exist. You've outgrown that. You're already the master of that. And Fool with Page of Wands, it's time to go on a new journey, go to the next level where you aren't learned in that. You're going to be a beginner once more because you've already mastered where you're at. And some of you, it might just be that you're having a hard time letting go with your current reality and life. It's familiar, it's comfortable, you're attached, but Spirit's like, nope, it's time to move on. You have other things to explore. There's this new beginning for you. It's totally, those of you who this is about spiritual gift, totally different path than what you've been on, 100%. And look, this just flew out as I was saying that, and it's the listening card. I just feel like it's kind of a little bonus as I'm talking, where it's saying, listen to Spirit, open yourself up so that we can get on this journey. Like, Spirit's so excited for you to get moving. Look, let's do this. Let's do this. Like, there's no reason to be afraid. There's no reason to hold back. Let me show you the truth. Let me expand your mind. Let me open up your consciousness to ideas that you've never even considered. All right. So the chakra associated with all of this that is out of balance, having trouble, is the solar plexus. And this is your personal power. So those of you that aren't seeing something or refusing to acknowledge what you know, it's because you feel like, if this is like about a relationship, let's say, you feel you would like be very disempowered if you didn't have that relationship. It could be about resources. It could be about children. It could be about history. You know, there's just some part of you that is like, no, I can't face the truth about this because I would not be okay on my own, or I don't have the strength mentally or emotionally right now to face this challenge, so I'm choosing to turn away from it. Because some of you, it's like you're very aware of, you're like at a toxic job environment, or you have a toxic friend, or you're in a toxic relationship. Like, there's some part of you that's aware that this is not the best thing for you, but for whatever reason you feel as though you don't have the internal strength to, you know, push through it and let it go, or you don't feel like there's any other option for you outside of that. And that comes through really strong with that Seven of Pentacles. And Spirit is saying, no, you've got to know that you are empowered no matter what your reality looks like. You never lose your power unless you give it away and believe you don't have it. So solar plexus chakra, meditation, balancing, Reiki, hugely beneficial for you to become empowered. Affirmations about being empowered, being strong, you know, being capable, being motivated. All those things will really help you out, because even though you think this is hard or that you can't, Spirit is saying this is going to be much easier than you think it is. And the more you get on that bandwagon, the more the energy can just flow. I mean, Eight of Wands, that is like boom, 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 boom. Like, that's fast, super flowing energy. So once you hop on, it's, whoo, you get knocked out of the park and you're happy about it. Like, it's taking you to a very good place. And those of you where you feel like you're supposed to be doing something spiritually based as far as your career, you're absolutely right. And maybe you're just like, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know if I'm good enough. Balance this chakra and you will be good. You will find your way. Yes, you are meant to do this thing. That's why you feel it. That's why Spirit haunts you about it. And it's, you know, Spirit can't do everything for us. We're here with free will, living our own lives, right? We have a plan of what we want to accomplish while we're here, so our guides help us with that. Remind us when we're getting off track from what we intended when we came here, but they cannot do the work for us, okay? They cannot give us all the answers. They can only guide us. So let's pull some advice here. Surrender to the beauty of the natural world. This says, take a relaxing break and spend time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and ecstasy there. This to me is, you could need to go in nature. Some of you, that might be where you connect and that's what you need to do. But for others of you, to me, this is talking more about what you can't see, like, is all around you in everything, especially through nature, like insects, animals, rainbows, clouds, the sunset, just anything associated to nature. There is like spirits communicating with you, sending you signs and synchronicities, trying to help you see, okay? Others of you, this extends obviously beyond the nature world, and it's just to your everyday life. So really, really pay attention to anything that's repetitive around you, because that's trying to help you see what you don't see and bring you back into your personal power so you can get moving on your journey. Because I'm telling you, you are meant to start something new. It's like you're just going in this straight line and you're at this point where you're supposed to like take a sharp right turn, and you're still trying to like keep going forward, and Spirit's like, no, this way, that's the way you want to go, and you're like, no. So it's like this struggle, and man, they're telling you, like, big neon sign, no, turn right, turn right, turn right, turn right. Okay, so let's pull some more advice here. And I get this phone call from this number and I silence it. Some of you, you're receiving the signs, but you hit silence. No, 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 not interested. Okay, count your blessings. This says, wealth and power surround you, and smooth journeys lie ahead. Do you hear that? What are we talking about? Your journey this whole time. Smooth journeys lie ahead. Make the best of this time while remaining productive. Practice humility and modesty. Appreciate that which you have, and remember those who have stood by you. Be grateful. So, yeah, this is saying you are empowered, okay? And if you've been struggling financially or with resources, all of those things, it all comes down to energy. And no matter what your purpose is here for this coming to Lantern 3, your guides are really communicating with you and trying to show you the way. Bring your power back to you, remind you of your power, and you know, assert yourself, be disciplined with yourself if you need to. You know, whatever it takes, they're really trying to help you get there. And it's like, it's time, it's time, it's time. I feel that very strongly. The time is now. So let's pull you another card to keep adding to this. All right. So what do we have here? Ooh, we have Kuan Yin. Very nice. It says, enjoy the journey of life. Oh my gosh, and here we are about this journey again. Be not afraid of its mysteries. Take a chance and follow your heart. You are guided and protected by Kuan Yin, goddess of mercy, compassion, and transformation. If you have been wavering about proceeding with something that is dear to you, then this is your confirmation. Just do it. Wow. There you go. There you go. Don't hold back. Don't not believe in yourself. It is here in this reading that you are meant to transform, to go off on this other direction than what you've currently been experiencing. Some of you, this is incredibly spiritual, and others of you, this is just to get you on a better path, like happier life, better situations, circumstances, experiences. Like it's time for it, like you to elevate, okay, just vibrationally in general. So let's pull another card for you. All right, so you have Raphael. Yeah, Raphael is here to help you see things that you don't want to see or that are hard to see, so that you can, work through them, move past them, because it's time to go on this new journey, this new path, this new way of being. So Archangel Raphael, very powerful. With this nature connection where you can pray and reach out and talk to Archangel Raphael and ask for the healing. Ask for him to help you see and open your eyes to the things that you are missing, that blind you, or that you are blind from, that block you from this beautiful new path forward. And some of you, it's just like you don't believe enough in yourself that you could do what you're dreaming of or make the changes that you want to make. And no, you can. You've just lost a sense of your personal power. And once that's regained, that's why I say this is easy, because once you regain your sense of personal power, you're like, boom, there's no stopping you, okay? So, let's pull you one final card to wrap this up. Ooh, look at this. And you guys got Timeless Earth. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Nature and Timeless Earth both coming out. Nature is so speaking to you every moment. Look to nature and ask for the same thing times 3, but you're going to get a lot of signs, synchronicities, clarity, and answers from like Mother Earth, from nature, clouds, rainbows, trees, birds, animals, insects, like all of that, highly synchronistic and significant for you. So look to nature. Also, with this, you could really use like a full grounding ceremony. So if you know how to do that yourself, I highly recommend. Otherwise, I would recommend you go to a Reikiist and have them really balance your energy and help you, help balance your energy. You can also go to YouTube, and there's meditations that you can do for free that help you ground your energy and balance your energy, because there's like this connection, like you're not connected to Earth. So some of you where this is like really about resources, this grounding ceremony, like connecting to Mother Earth, and it gives you like a foundation and a security of energy that you don't really have in this moment, which might be all you need to remember your personal power. But Reiki, grounding, and chakra balancing 100% for sure, especially with this coming out. But also, this being the last card, there is a lot of wisdom that exists inside of those of you who are on this spiritual path, spiritual journey, Timeless Earth. And once you awaken to the next level, because some of you are awakened, but man, there's just this whole vast plethora of knowledge, of wisdom, of understanding that you haven't even tapped into yet. And that's what we're trying to work on here. So, wow, very powerful, deep, and profound, those of you attracted to the third lantern. So I hope that this has brought you some clarity and insight and healing. I am wishing you all the best. Take care. Hello there. So let's get right into the messages from Lantern 4 and what it has to say about healing and where you're at on your journey right now. These are nice oracle cards that are fashioned after the Lenormand style of divination, if you're familiar with that. But these are actual oracle cards, so they're read and used just a little different. So let's see which one comes out for you. Okay, nice. Look at this. We have the umbrella. So when we're talking about healing, you have been through a lot of heartache and hardship and challenge and just yuck. And it could be for a while now. You've been going through it for a minute, but here is Spirit bringing you an umbrella finally, okay? Like, this card is things are going to start looking up. There's blessings coming in. The energy's shifting, and you've done your work, okay? So there's like this invisible umbrella coming to shield you from everything you've been suffering as of late. Like, it's time to start healing and expanding our consciousness from our travels and all we've been through. Like, you've completed your journey, and now it's time for an assessment. And during our assessment time, it's recovery, it's recuperation. All the energies start returning to you, blessings, you know, things you lost, all of that starts returning to you, and you are right on the edge of that. So yay. And this is just like Spirit saying, listen baby, it's about to get way better. Way better. You hang in there. I got you. I know that was a rough ride, but you're gonna really grow from this. And you see, like, you're kind of in that transition, because I'm really like noticing the butterflies here. And if you notice, they're transparent, okay? They're not really solid butterflies. So that's why you guys are in that in between, like that assessment, recovery. And as you move through that part of this process, the color fills in, and that's, you know, all the energy returning back to you. All right, so we're going to pull some tarot dice to get more information. Woo! All right, and I go with the top. Wow, oh my gosh, you guys have so many of the exact same from Lantern number 3's reading. Okay, so we start out with the Emperor, and that's things finally stabilizing. Next, we have the Page of Pentacles. Next, we have, what is this? 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, we've got the 10 of Pentacles. That is nice. Yes. The energy, okay. Yes, things are going to start stabilizing out, all right? And the energy that returns, it starts in like small little spurts, okay? But ultimately, you end up with the 10 of Pentacles. And then right next to that, we have the King of Wands. So there's a lot of fire energy coming through in this reading. Very strong if you are a fire sign or an earth sign, this lantern. And then lastly, we have the Page of Wands. So here's more fire energy. So you have fire, 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 earth, earth. Yeah, very strong for fire and earth signs. Or look to your natal chart, and whichever fire or earth sign you have heavy placement of planet, then that's the house that this reading is really speaking to, okay? Like, there's big shift coming there. Yeah, your energy level is going to pick up. There's more resources coming in. Things are just really going to stabilize. And some of you, it's like there's this man, this really masculine, empowered individual that is like going to either give you a job offer, give you a loan, give you some sort of recommendation, help you out, fund your idea, or, well, yeah, it just feels like there's this really strong masculine energy, or it could be a combination of two different people that will be coming in to help you out, offering you something, because it's like Emperor with Page of Pentacles, King of Wands with Page of Wands, and what sits in between them is 10 Pentacles. So you have pretty much 4 people and then 10 Pentacles. So those of you like with the family that you've been in the big struggle, I feel like somebody's getting a much better job, or they're finally able to get somebody to finance their business idea, or they come into the resources they need to buy a car, to get their own home. You know, just, it's different for everybody, but it's finally coming. Like, you're in that in-between phase now, where we're, you know, reassessing and shedding and opening ourselves up to what we have now earned for ourselves, what we are now becoming, what we are coming into, the energy that is returning to us. So let's pull a card here to see which chakra, you know, may be out of balance and needs some attention. Or, you know what? I don't feel that for you guys. Actually, you are the only reading where I feel like you're getting an upgrade to this chakra, actually. Like, it's not about that it's out of balance. You're getting an upgrade. Very interesting. Oh, wow. Huh. Look at that. You guys have self-mastery. I guess that makes sense. If I'm like, no, you're getting an upgrade. So this has to do with the solar plexus chakra right here, which is about your empowerment and confidence and asserting yourself and making things happen. It's very masculine energy. So for you guys, it's almost as though we're receiving an entire upgrade to our chakra system. Not just the solar plexus, but, you know, self-mastery, like all of them. Reiki, again, is good for that a lot. There's meditations that you can find online on YouTube that help you, you know, bring in that upgrade. But yeah, it's, to me, all the other lanterns were talking about very specific, like this is what's going on and this is what you need to do. Your guys is like, nope, you guys are in this place now where you've done the work. You've done the work and it's time to receive the payoff. And the payoff for some is like financial resources or material resources or new job, new relationship, new friendship, new connections, just whatever for you personally. And others of you, this is like a spiritual type of return. And, you know, it just depends on what each one of you are working towards. But yeah, it's like you've done the work and now it's time for you to receive. I like that. So let's pull some advice. All right, surrender to what is. Yep, because you're in the in-between. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. So this is Spirit letting you know that this here, the in-between, is a process. And the more that you just go with the flow, the happier you feel, the easier things are. And maybe this will be easier for you now that you know, like you are getting a return here. Things are going to get better for you. You've done the work. The payoff, the return is on its way. So don't, just enjoy the journey and know that you're headed to greener pastures. You are almost there. Okay, let's pull some more advice. All right, balance karma. This says there's a reason for everything. Each life has many connections to previous lives. You came to balance karma with others. Allow grief, anger, and guilt to be transformed into a force to fortify you and assist you in fulfilling your purpose this lifetime. Yeah, so to me, this is letting you know, like, everything you've been through was this process, okay? You were balancing karma, and now you have done that process, and you've done the work, and you've gone through a lot, and it's time for an upgrade and for all of your efforts to be returned to you like a reward. Let's pull another card. And you know, those of you who are really trying to like branch out into the metaphysical, not because you want to like read cards or anything, but you just really want to explore yourself in that capacity. Again, I feel like there's two really strong male forces that come in, and then there's two other personalities that assist you and help you, but they're not as significant. But you get a lot of support. Like, things are going to really shift for you. Ooh, look at this. We have patience. Because why? We're in that in-between place. And it says, you're entering a time of great love and peace. Be patient and allow the current storm to clear. resurrection, no more wounds, only love predicted for the future. Yeah, so Spirit is really just trying to comfort you right now and saying the hardest part is over. You're just weathering out the storm now. It's passing, it's clearing. You're in the in-between space. And every card is pretty much saying, bright future, bright future, bright future, over and over and over. And I'm using all these different decks, so that's really good. Like, things are good for you guys. This is a very different message than the others, as I've said. So let's pull another card. All right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it just keeps getting better. Oh, I love constant confirmation through a reading. Wisdom. This right here says, the choices that you have made in the past, the way you handled things, the way you've been going about things, you did it correctly. You have completed that. You are going to reap the reward for your efforts. Okay, it's pretty much everything these other cards have said. It's you did the right thing, you made the right choices, you did the work, and now it's time for you to receive that energy. I love it. This is the most positive of all four. And it's just like you did the work. You're just kind of going through the motions now, leading you to a much better place. All right, questioning your beliefs. Okay, so this coming out, not only does this say that, you know, we're in the in-between place, right? We're doing the assessment, the analysis. This is saying if you are really feeling persuaded to see things differently than you have in the past, to do things differently, to think about things differently, to feel things differently, let that happen. Don't fight the process whatsoever, okay? Because you're moving on into like a new path. The hardest part is over, and in the in-between place, that's where we purge all the stuff that no longer serves us for where we're headed now, and we allow our consciousness to expand into the wisdom and knowledge that we have earned through all the work we've been doing up to that point. So that comes through right along with that card, your last card of the reading. You'll get through this. You're at the end of it. Just have patience. Just surrender to what is. Whatever belief needs to be reassessed and changed and released, allow that to happen, okay? And there's some new players coming into your life as well. So those are your messages. I wish you all the best. Take care.